guys, it's Lily and welcome back, and welcome if you're new here. So as you guys have probably noticed, I have not been posting at all for the past several months. After the whole quarantine period in the spring, I went back to work and I worked pretty much every day over the summer. And then I came back to school in August and I've been working 2 jobs on top of my full class schedule. So unfortunately, there just wasn't a lot of time for me to film good YouTube videos that I'd want to put out for you guys. But today, I am actually coming to you from quarantine. So I'm actually in the quarantine building that we have on campus. And I'm here because my boss at the coffee shop that I work at tested positive for COVID, and because we wanted to make sure that I didn't develop symptoms later on, even though I did test negative, I had to be in isolation for 2 weeks. So this is nearing the end of my time here, and I did want to kind of share this experience with you guys, and I've been debating on how to do that in the best way possible. I really wanted to try to do like a day in my life video, and I realized that I really do just sleep most of the day and then do my classwork in the evenings and talk to my family. So it's not really much of a day in my life kind of video, and it just wouldn't be good content to put out. But I did want to talk to you guys about my experience here. The first thing that I want to talk about is obviously being locked in a room by yourself for 2 weeks is going to take a toll on your mental health. And I can definitely say that it has for me. There have been days where I didn't want to get out of bed. It was like, there's no point in taking a shower because no one's gonna see me. But then I wouldn't get up to take a shower or get ready, so I wouldn't be motivated at all to do my schoolwork. And so with that, I did kind of have a point in time while I was here where I did get a little bit behind on my schoolwork, and I had to rush like one day to complete all of the assignments that I had due because I waited until the last minute. Which, you know, is typical college procrastination, but I have never had it like that bad where I had 3 or 4 assignments that I had to do at one time because I waited that long to put them off. Luckily, I got them all in on time and I did do good on them. It just was stressful trying to finish them after I had been so unmotivated to complete those. So it definitely has kind of shown how this can take an effect on my mental health. And it's been great because my family has been able to call and talk to me, and my boyfriend and my friends. So that way I'm at least getting up and like people are seeing me, so I have like motivation to at least look decent on like FaceTime calls with my friends and family. The second thing that I want to talk to you guys about is definitely the food situation. So being that I am diabetic and I have celiac disease, I do have certain dietary restrictions and needs that I have to have when I eat. And so that was definitely a big concern when they said, hey, you're gonna go into quarantine for 2 weeks. And I was like, okay. And I explained to them what was going on, and they're like, oh yeah, we can definitely take care of that. And they've been great about it. They've made sure all of my food is gluten-free. They give me everything that I need to know about what I'm eating. And that's been great. The only problem is I am kind of a picky eater. And so I will get food that I don't necessarily want to eat. And so while that has been a struggle, at the beginning of quarantine, I did have my friends go out and buy me some snacks and just personal care items to have while I was in here because, you know, I'm not allowed to leave. I'm not allowed to go get things for myself. And they were super great about it. And so I do have like snack foods and bagels that are gluten-free that I can eat if, say, for instance, I get a meal and like I only like one thing from it and I don't want to eat the rest of it. I do have food to eat instead. So I can see where like if maybe somebody didn't have somebody on the outside to buy these supplies for them, where it could be really hard and they're maybe not eating as much as they should while in quarantine because they aren't getting food that they necessarily want to eat. But yeah, I am extremely lucky to have friends that have been looking out for me and making sure that I've been taken care of while I'm in here, and I appreciate them so much and I could not thank them enough. And honestly, like I said, the dining services here have been super helpful as far as taking care of my nutrition needs as far as being gluten-free and being a diabetic. So that has been great. The third thing that I kind of wanted to touch on just a little bit was the whole testing process. So when I found out that my boss had tested positive, I had to call health services here on campus, and they told me to come in for a COVID test. And ever since the beginning of quarantine and them testing for COVID, all I've heard is that the test hurt, they make your nose bleed, and so I was super scared and anxious about getting a test. But they did the swab, and it is a little uncomfortable, I will be honest with you. And I know for everybody it is different, but it wasn't as bad as some people have made it seem. So I don't want people to be like scared to go get the test because they're scared that it's gonna hurt or it's gonna make their nose bleed. Like if you think that you have COVID, it is important to go get tested. And it isn't quite as bad as most people have made it seem. And so they did the rapid test on me, and they got it back and it was negative. But like I said, I had to come quarantine just in case I developed symptoms because it was still early on after my exposure. And then they sent off a test that is a little bit more accurate, but that also came back negative. But again, I still have to stay here for 2 weeks because they want to make sure everything's good, that I don't develop symptoms, and that there's no chance that I am sick and then spread it to somebody else. But it was a super quick process. They handle everything super well. They clean down all of like the surface areas in the tents where they do testing. So like if somebody before you was sick, you're not coming in and having a chance of getting sick after them. So the health services here on campus handles the testing process very well, and I had no issues. They did my test and then they sent me over here where I met with the health providing team here, and they gave me my key, sent me up to my room, and they call and check on me every day to make sure that I am good and I'm not sick. So they've also been awesome during this entire process. The final thing that I wanted to touch on is just making sure you look out for yourself. Make sure you keep an eye on your mental health, or have somebody that calls in to check on you to check in on your mental health. Another thing is that if at all possible, try to give yourself self-care if you're in quarantine, because it is hard and it's stressful. And so like I have masks and bath bombs because there's a bathtub in this dorm, and I have nail polish and stuff that my friends have brought me when they brought me my food. But I know that some people won't have access to those things. And so maybe just take a break to listen to your favorite music, or just take a nap if you're tired. Like don't feel like you have to rush and just do all your work and stay up all the time, because staying up and being in this in a room by yourself is really stressful. So maybe just take a nap. That way it's not like you're trying to force yourself to stay awake when you're exhausted, or you just don't have anything to do, so you're sitting there staring at a wall the entire time. So like make sure you do what you need to do for your mental health. That's the most important thing. And if you need assistance, make sure that there's somebody that you can call to talk to if you're not doing okay, or you just need somebody to talk to. And honestly, with health services here calling to check up on me every day, they always make sure that I'm good, that I don't need anything. And honestly, if I didn't have my friends and family, it would be nice to also have them to talk to. And also we have counseling on campus that we could call to talk to if we needed them. So they've provided so many resources for us here. But I also know that not everybody has those resources if they have to quarantine. So I've been extremely thankful for all of that. But I just wanted to check in with you guys, let you know how my life was going, and I just wanted to share this experience with you all. So thank you, I love you guys, and I'll see you when I see you.